response, the Deputy President said as follows. The allegation that I own Olive Garden Hotel is false. The truth is that Olive Garden Hotel used to belong to my deceased brother, the late Honorable James Nderito Gachagua, and therefore has never been my property. This is information that most of you may be aware of, as it is in the public domain. Upon his demise, my late brother left a will in which, in his recognition that I am an honest man.
We can leave it there, and honest man is written in bold, right?
He appointed me as one of the executors of his estate.
Now, is the DP's response about Olive Garden, which runs from page 2 to 3, consistent with the affidavit in the National Assembly's Volume 8 by Peterson, Jomo Mushira?
Maybe so that we can point members. On Volume 8, we have the affidavit of Mr. Peterson Jomo Mushira. And
tell us in summary, because we are so pressed for time.
Peterson Jomo Mushira says, I have personal knowledge of one of the issues raised in the special motion for the removal from office by impeachment of Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President. I have personal knowledge of the facts relating to the sale of Olive Garden Hotel, which initially formed part of the estate of the late Nderito Gachagua. Given the matters set out in the preceding paragraph, I am competent to swear this affidavit. I decided to swear this affidavit after my attention was drawn to contradictions between the contents of Part 1.1 on pages 1-2 of the response that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua filed at the National Assembly on 8th October in opposition to the special motion for his removal. B, remarks made by Honorable Mutuse when prosecuting the motion at the National Assembly, and remarks made by Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah at the National Assembly. Remarks made by members of the Assembly.
Let's go to the next paragraph in the interest of time.
I wish to clarify and state as follows. I am a shareholder and director of TM Civil Engineering Limited, the company referred to in the agreement annexed on pages 10 to 34 of the Deputy President's response to the motion. On around 31st of March 2023, the Deputy President approached and convinced me to purchase the Olive Garden Hotel, which was at the time part of the estate of the late Nderito Gachagua.
Let's go to D.
In D, he averred that in summary...
Now let's go to C.
No, C. The Deputy President persuaded me to enter into an informal secret arrangement, regarding the transaction embodied in the agreement annexed on page 10 to 34 of his response to the motion. In summary, the terms of the secret agreement were that, 1, the Deputy President would buy the hotel from me by refunding the purchase price of 412 million set out in the agreement annexed on page 10 to 34 of his response. 2, the Deputy President would instruct and pay a contractor to renovate the hotel after the completion of the transaction embodied in the agreement. 3, to protect the Deputy President's undisclosed interest in the hotel, I would appoint Ms. Juliani Jahenda as a signatory or agent for the hotel's account at the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. And 4, to further protect the Deputy President's undisclosed interest, Mrs. Juliani Jahenda will run the hotel.
That Ms. Julian Jahenda, is it the same person mentioned in volume 8A on page 1 of 19? Volume 8A.
Yes, this is a letter from the Public Service Commission.
So does that mean we have two sources, one being Jomo Mushira? It is...
We are on volume 8A, page 1 of 19.
And there is an entry there, the third name in that table.
If you look at the names, you have the first one, the second one, and the third one is Maka Juliani Jahenda.
Is that the same?
Who is the Deputy Director in charge of coordination in the presidency at the office of the Deputy President, working on a local contract.
Who is the author of this document?
The author of this document is the Public Service Commission of Kenya.
Does this document, is it consistent with what Johnson Mushira said in his affidavit about Julian Jahenda?
It shows that Julian Jahenda is a staff and a close associate of the Deputy President, and she's the same person who was seconded to manage his interest at the Olive Garden Hotel.
The acquisition of this hotel through a secret arrangement from the estate of his brother, is it consistent with a honest man as written in bold font in his response?
It is indeed consistent with our allegation that His Excellency, the Deputy President, raided the estate of his late brother and acquired properties directly and through proxy.
Lastly, from me, so that Mr. Wanyama will wrap up, let's go to the Vipingo property that also belonged to the estate of his brother.
And for senators to note, this is another 535 million, 412 million in terms of the purchase and renovations, another extra millions of money, and there is no disclosure as to where the money was coming from.
Now let's go to Vipingo Beach Resort, which again the Deputy President wants to hide under the shadow of his late brother, who is given on page 18 of volume 2A as the directors of Vipingo Beach Resort Limited. Volume 2A, page 18 of 123.
Volume 2A, on page 18, we have annexed Form CR12, dated 27th September 2024, for Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, and the directors are Keith Ikino Rigathi and Kevin Gashagwa Rigathi, and the estate of deceased James Nderito Gashagwa.
So let's begin with Kevin, who is a son of the Deputy President. Was he an executor of the will that the Deputy President has annexed to his response?
No, the will was to be executed by the Deputy President, Mr. Honorable Rigathi Gashagwa, Advocate Njoroge Rogeru, and Mr. Maina. So the children of the Deputy President were not executors of the estate, and therefore cannot be said to be in the directorship of this company by virtue of the will of the late Rigathi Gachagua, because they were not named as executors of his estate.
So is this document on its face consistent with his defense that this hotel belongs to his late brother?
It flies on the face.
But let's see whether he actually acquired it. Let's go to volume 4, page 107 of 484.
I am at volume 4, page 107.
What is that document, sir?
This is a joint will executors report on the status of the estate as at 27th February 2024. This is the estate of the late Nderito Gachagua.
And what does it tell us about Kuruwitu Home Resort in Roman 3 on that page?
The broad headline is sale of estates assets, and it lists number 1, Queensgate, Olive Garden Hotel, and then Kuruwitu Home Resort.
Yes.
And it says as follows. The resort was sold to Kuruwitu Properties Limited for Kenya shillings 250.
What page of that volume? That's
This
volume
is
4.
Volume 4, Mr. Speaker, page 107 of 484. Volume 4, Mr. Speaker,
We can continue.
Yes, proceed.
Kuruwitu Home Resort. The resort was sold to Kuruwitu Properties Limited for Kenya shillings 250 million only.
Let's stop there.
Yes.
Is Kuruwitu Properties Limited, to which this hotel or resort was sold, a company linked to the Deputy President?
Indeed, and we have annexed in our volume 2A.
Yes.
If Honorable Speaker and Senators would go to our volume 2A of our exhibits at page 8. We have volume 2A, page 8. We have annexed the Form CR12 in respect of Kuruwitu.
And who are shown as the directors there?
The directors are Vipingo Beach Resort Limited.
But let's also interrogate.
Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, which we have demonstrated that is owned by Honorable Rigathi Gachagwa's children.
Back to volume 4, page 111 of 484. Can you read at the top the sentence that begins with, for instance?
This is, we are at page 111, and this
For 484, Mr. Speaker, volume 4.
This is still, this is for, so that we, this is still the joint will executors report, and at the top there, at page 111, for instance, the sale of Kuruwitu Beach Resort cottages and Olive Gardens Hotel was done after beneficiaries were placed in the meeting of 24th June 2023, cited herein before. Significantly, the beneficiaries themselves in their meetings with one of the executors, underline one of the executors, approved the sale of Kuruwitu Home Resort to one of them, underline one of them.
Where is
who is also an executor, underline who is also an executor.
Who is the executor and beneficiary being referred to here?
The only executor and beneficiary of the late Nderitu Gachagwa's estate, as named in the will and as named in this joint report, is one Honorable Rigathi Gachagwa.
Where is this property located, Honorable Mutuse?
Vipingo Beach?
Yes.
Should be somewhere in the coast.
Back to page 107 of volume 4. In his response, as the deputy president explained where he got the sum of Kenya shillings 250 million to purchase this property.
In fact, he denies buying the property.
Mr. Speaker, I will cede the floor now to my learned friend, Mr. Wanyama, to prosecute the remaining grounds of the motion.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'll proceed from where my colleague Mudhomi has left. Honorable Mutuse, can you go to ground number 2 of your motion?
We'll be there shortly.
I think that's page 10 of volume 1.
Here we are.
Yes, what is the nature of this ground? What are you complaining about?
We are complaining that the Deputy President has on numerous occasions violated Article 147(1), as read together with Article 152(1) of the Constitution of Kenya. And in particular, Article 147(1) provides that the Deputy President shall be the principal assistant of the President and shall deputize for the President in the execution of the President's functions. While Article 152(1) of the Constitution states that the Deputy President is a member of the Cabinet. And in particular, through Cabinet communique, as you are aware, after every time there is a Cabinet meeting, there is normally a press release that is released. And we were aware of a decision of the Cabinet of the 30th of April 2024, where the Cabinet passed a resolution to evacuate members of the public for their own safety from the 30-meter riparian zone of the Nairobi River.
Yes.
And when that decision was made, insofar as I understand processing of business in the Cabinet, the Deputy President sat in Cabinet. The Deputy President is one who chairs Cabinet subcommittees which process business before going to Cabinet. And therefore, to my own understanding, he was fully involved in the making of that decision. However,
Okay, just to cut you short because
Yes.
of time, the allegation is that the deputy president has been undermining the president.
Yes.
Do you have evidence in your motion that support this allegation?
Yes, I have evidence.
Which evidence is this?
The evidence is in respect of the cabinet resolution regarding the evacuation of the riparian, of the settlers around the riparian area, in that area, and our evidence is contained in the affidavit of Ms. Mercy Wanjau.
Where is this affidavit of Mercy Wanjau?
The affidavit of Mercy Wanjau is to be found on page 78 to 80 of volume 1.
Has the DP admitted these allegations?
Yes, the DP has admitted the allegation to say there was a cabinet resolution, but he went against it.
Where is the admission contained for purpose of the answer? The admission by the deputy president?
If you look at paragraphs 10.1.1 and 10.1.3 of the DP's response,
Yeah.
Volume and page.
volume 6,
Uh-huh.
page 19 of 534. Paragraph 10.1.1, he says as follows. The office of the Deputy President has undertaken extensive engagement with all parties in regard to the cabinet decision on eviction, which I fully support, including the Nairobi River, which is an entity under the ODP.
Okay, okay. I think we can hold, we can stop there. So in your opinion, as the move of the motion, can the government of Kenya function if the deputy president and the president are not reading from the same page?
It will be very difficult for the government to function and to deliver effectively to the people of Kenya when the two highest office holders